guys, was when we are multiplying two terms. For example, here I have x squared times x to the third. They're right beside each other, so that means multiplication, right? And our rule when we multiply is we do what with the exponents? Add them. Very good. So x squared times x to the third would be x to the fifth. Good. All right. Okay, on example 2 here, what do I do with the 2 and the 3? Multiply them, which would give us 6. And then for the n to the 5th, n to the 4th, I do what? Yes, we add them. Good. All right, so that was our very first rule. We learned that beginning of last week, right? Okay. Our second rule was about dividing. Whenever I divide, what do I do with my exponents? Subtract them, right, just like it says here. Whenever we are dividing, we subtract. All right, so for example 1, I've got y to the 5th divided by y to the 2nd. What do I get?
2.5. Y to the third.
Y to the 3rd. And is the bigger number in the top or the bottom? The top, so I'll have y to the 3rd on the top. So that means there's nothing left in the bottom. I could put a 1, but do I really need the 1? No. So this would just be y to the 3rd. Okay. For example 2, what am I going to do with this 2 and 4? Divide them. Okay, what do I get when I divide 2 by 4? 1/2 if you divide them in that order. If you flip it over, you do get 2. And the bigger number is in the bottom, right? So the 2 goes in the bottom. Or, like we said, we get a 1/2, which is 1/2, right? Okay? And then what am I going to do with those exponents? Subtract them. So 10 and 3 would give us, and where's the bigger number?
The bottom.
Bottom. So I would have a to the 7th in the bottom, right? So I just have 1 over 2a to the 7th. All right? Okay. Now, just doing a quick recap for us. We're coming to the end of the unit, so I just wanted to do a little comprehensive review for us.
We have a unit test.
We are. But not till the very end of the week. We got a few days. So it says we've got a power to a power. They call it stamping it out because remember, x to the 5th power literally raised to the 3rd means x to the 5th, x to the 5th, x to the 5th, right? They're stamping it over and over again, the number of times specified, okay? But remember, whenever we have a power to a power, our rule for that 5 and 3 is to do what? Not add them, multiply them, right? 5 times 3 would give us 15, which makes sense because if I did 5 plus 5 plus 5, which is what they have written here, I would still get 15. Good. All right, and then for example 2, I've got this 2 that's raised to the 2nd power, right? What is 2 raised to the 2nd power? 4. Okay. What's the understood exponent for this x right here? 1. Very good. And we said we do what with the exponents here? Multiply. What's 1 times 2? 2. And then what do I do with my exponents for y? Multiply them as well, and I get y to the 4. If you actually FOIL that out, which they did here, 2 times 2 is 4, right? I've got 1 and 1, which gives me 2, 2 and 2, which gives me 4. All right? Then last rule, so those of you who were absent yesterday, this is what you missed. Okay, we said anytime you have a negative exponent, you can move it across the fraction bar to change it to a positive. So for example, if I had an x to the negative 5 in the top, which is in the top here, right? I can move it across this line into the bottom, and it's going to turn it into a positive 5, okay? Or, if it was currently written like this, I could move it to the top, and make it a positive, right? If you move it across the line, you can make it a positive, wherever it currently is. If it's in the top, move it to the bottom. If it's in the bottom, we move it to the top, because we don't like a negative exponent. Okay, and then we also said anything raised to the 0 power is always what? 1. So I have a to the 0 power. What is a to the 0 power? 1. And what number was in front of it? 2. So I really have 2 times 1, which is 2.
Wait, what is the one where we always put?
There's not one. All right, on example number 4, we've got a negative exponent, right? Where did I say I could move that so that it wouldn't be negative? Down. So now I'm going to have 3, because the 3 doesn't have to move, right? Over x to the positive 1. And do I need to move the y? No. But what is y to the 0 power? 1. So really just times 1 at the top, right? Okay, and what is 3 times 1? 3. So really I just would have 3 over x, right?
Is the y is like the little one still, instead of doing just 3 times 1?
No. Okay. There is no y anymore at all.
Okay.
Because anything we put to the 0 power, the whole thing goes away and just becomes the number 1.
So like if it's x or y, that would automatically.
Yeah, the whole thing just becomes 1. All right? So there's our quick little review of the rules.